How's it going, everybody? Got quite a lot to talk about in this video. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is still getting a lot of updates, and it is about to get a major update with the free update coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. This game has been out for a long time, and kudos to Bandai Namco for continually updating it, but we'll talk all about that. And speaking of free, I know most of you guys are excited about Spider-Man 2 later this week, but next week we'll have the release of Alan Wake 2. Very excited for that as well. And Alan Wake 2, while it will be having some paid DLC, it will also be getting some free DLC. More on that in just a little bit. But first of all, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 will be getting a major free update launching on October the 12th, coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series in 2024. So the upgrade itself will be coming in 2024. The free update will be dropping on October the 12th. So this update has a lot of new content, including a new event in the Festival of Universe, a new battle mode in the Cross Versus battle mode, Awoken Skill in Ultra Instinct, Avatar level cap unlocks, some feature improvements as well. Welcome Campaign has a login bonus, limited time from October 12th until the 9th, and free trial for select downloadable content characters from October the 12th to the 19th. That includes playable characters such as Android 7 from DB Super, Bojack, Dabura Majin Buu, Android 13, Frostfu, Fuse Zamasu, God of Destruction Champa, Goku, Ultra Instinct, Jiren, Broly Full Power Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Gogeta, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegito, Super Baby 2, Taipon, Vados, Rose, Goku, Black, Zamasu, and much more. So all of that will be available October 12th to the 9th, and again, the login bonus is October 12th to the 19th. I keep saying October 9th, it's to the 19th. We're not going back in time here. Also noted in 2024, new downloadable content with an additional scenario, additional playable characters, other contents as well, and PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series versions will be launching. A bunch of years later, DB Xenoverse 2 is still getting updates, and now it'll be getting a major piece of update with it coming to PS5 and Xbox Series. Xenoverse wasn't a game that I got super into. I know a lot of people were super into the customizability aspects of it. It didn't really click with me, and I'm a Dragon Ball fan, and I usually enjoy the Dragon Ball games, but I'm gonna be real, like, Xenoverse isn't one that I really enjoy. But I know a lot of people think this is one of the best Dragon Ball games that's been released, and I have a buddy that's, like, super into this game. So the fact that it's still getting a lot of updates, there's obviously a core audience of people that are super into this game, and these days you can pick the game up for dirt cheap, like well under $10. Now, there's a lot of other content and things like that if you do want to pick that up, but for the base game, it is very cheap. Now, Xenoverse from a campaign standpoint works as far as like rewriting the history of Dragon Ball and making sure it's correct, etc, but the depth to the game is pretty ridiculous at this point, and it's a game that I have been wanting to give another shot to, because when I played it, it was years and years ago, and at this point, I imagine that it's a vastly not different experience than what it was at launch, but a much improved experience than what it was at launch. And, you know, Dragon Ball isn't my favorite anime in the world, but it's always one that I feel like, you know, if you grew up around my time, or even a little bit before me, Dragon Ball is something that, like, everybody kind of knows of, and everybody has some reverence for. Like, you can't go wrong with Goku and the gang. But yeah, I'm not a big DB Super fan either, but I did enjoy the movies, and I watched DB Super, at least most of it, and I thought it was fine, but I actually dug the movies quite a bit. Like, the Broly movie I thought was insane. I actually really liked the movie around Gohan and Piccolo. I forget the name of it. But yeah, I know some people thought the animation was kinda lame, but even that aspect I thought was okay. I didn't hate the animation as much as everybody else, but yeah, Dragon Ball's still killing it. What I really want to know is when we're gonna get Tenkaichi 4. Like, that's the Dragon Ball game that's really gonna click with me, because I love the Tenkaichi games growing up, and the fact we're gonna get a new one on next generation platforms, like, that's wild, and that should be fantastic. But Tenkaichi 4 probably won't be out until fall of 2024 or even 2025. What will be out very soon is Alan Wake 2, and while it is just a digital download only, and I feel like this talking point is really coming to a head a lot more recently, given the fact that it is not getting a physical release. It will be digital only, although it will be $60 versus $70, so you can take some solace in that, and it'll be $50 on PC. It will in fact be digital only, and also it will be getting free DLC. So when it lands in 2 weeks, you're gonna get a robust experience. Speaking at the EGX Theater, Sam Lake, the creative director of Remedy Entertainment, had this to say about Alan Wake 2. We've talked about cool things with music and with live action. Maybe I'll just say we haven't gotten really far into explaining any of the DLC material. For sure, we have named the actual bigger paid DLCs, which are Night Springs, which might be something that rings a bell, and the Lake House. But beyond that, we do have free DLC drops coming too, and those are pretty significant, and I'm expecting us to be going more into detail pretty soon after the game is out, but all of that will be free for anyone who gets the game. So there you go with that. You're going to be dropping 50 bucks on Alan Wake 2, or there's a deluxe edition as well if you want to get all the content, but you'll be getting some free DLC as well. I know the talking point about, you know, it being digital only is really, you know, kind of taking center stage. At least on social media, you see a lot of talk. And social media, sometimes we can get into this environment of an echo chamber where, you know, a lot of people are talking and they're repeating the same points, and I get that. I mean, we do that over here on YouTube as well. But on Twitter, it's pretty prevalent, and I would have loved to see this game get a physical release. I don't know why they couldn't handle the publishing rights to somebody like a THQ Nordic, and they could have handled the physical release for the game. I'm sure they could have worked out a deal, but for whatever reason, it's not going to have a physical release. Maybe that's more of an Epic Games decision. I would imagine that would be the case. I'm sure if Remedy, they had all the funding in the world, they could they would want to do a physical release, preserve the game, and that's the idea of physical releases. We want to preserve these games, and you see a lot of games these days, especially without backwards compatibility from the PlayStation 3 era, they're just being lost in the ether. Metal Gear Solid 4, although that will probably be preserved here next year, but you guys get the idea. It would have been nice to have a physical release, and sometimes people like their hard copies, people like their steel books if you have a special edition, and the fact that a game of this caliber isn't getting a physical release, it's really the first of its kind. I know that might sound jarring to a lot of people, given that, you know, a lot of people have moved on to digital gaming, but if you really look at big budget AAA games from a Western studio, I want to say every single one has had a physical release. Quote me if I'm wrong, let me know. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 is the one that you can point to that only had a digital release, but Baldur's Gate 3, I don't think going into the release of that game, people had the expectations that Alan Wake 2 had. That's just my opinion. I think Baldur's Gate 3 obviously ultimately built that up, and Baldur's Gate 3 was also more of a PC-centric release. Alan Wake 2, I don't think is that. And Baldur's Gate 3, the rumblings are that it is going to get a physical release here in the near future, so even that might be quelled here. But Alan Wake 2 to me is the first of its kind, and it's going to be an interesting case study on, especially consoles, how does it differ when a game of this caliber is only released digitally? If it's a very, very big shift, then obviously they're going to stick to doing physical releases as well. But you look at a Ubisoft as well. Of all the publishers, I wouldn't have expected it from them, but they're talking about, hey, digital gaming is growing, but physical games are always going to be here. But, you know, I digress about that. At the very least, Alan Wake 2 is going to get some free DLC. I'm still super excited for the game. I think the ambiance, atmosphere, and everything like that is going to be incredible in this game. It's going to be a super engrossing game, if nothing else. And also, they did add a performance mode into this game, but they did also note that the game was designed for 30 FPS on consoles right out the gate. So, you know, take that for what you will. But, yeah, I think the game is going to turn out to be remarkable, but we'll see. It's been 13 years since the first game, so I'm just excited to finally get my hands on the sequel to Alan Wake and Alan Wake 2. Go play the first game if you haven't. You can get it super cheap. I believe it's on sale right now, so go check that out if you haven't. But that'll do it for me. Again, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 getting a major free update on October the 12th. Then on top of that, it will be getting a free upgrade to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series in 2024. So a lot to look forward to as far as that goes. Again, I'm going to be looking forward to Tenkaichi 4, but for those of you that play all the Dragon Ball games, that's exciting news for Xenoverse 2. And Alan Wake 2 will be getting some major free DLC as well after launch. And again, paid DLC to be coming with that as well. That'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.